everybody, welcome back. This is Jodie King for the Jodie King Art Channel, and I'm so glad you're here. Today we are going to talk about how to use social media to help us with our art business. Now, I'm not going to teach you one of those classes on social media, how to use social media or how to use Instagram and how to build your following. There are lots of programs out there for that. But what I am going to talk to you about is how we can use use social media, specifically Instagram, to really engage with with art buyers and with just the art community in general, and just how to increase our visibility and get our work seen. Now, the first thing I want to say is anything that is worth building is going to take time. So I have built the following that I have on Instagram completely organically. One of the things that I recently heard was the CEO of Coca-Cola says that it takes on average 8 years to build a brand. So don't expect to overnight, just because you're on social media, that you're gonna all of a sudden just have this huge following, engaged following. It's gonna take time. So give yourself a hot second, okay? The other thing that I want to talk about, mention in terms of social media, and this is big, I don't hear a lot of people talking about this, is I'm not going for followers, because followers are people. So if we can remember that what I am wanting to engage with are people, and I want to connect with people, and I don't ever look at it as followers. So I want to encourage you to do the same thing, because what we're really wanting as artists through the art that we create in any form is to connect with people. The thing about social media or Instagram, one way I'd like to look at it is it's a handshake, okay? It's really kind of an introduction. And if we do the introduction right, then we're able to continue with the communication. So one way that we can make the introduction right is to think about Instagram as more of a magazine versus a catalog. So what do I mean by that? Well, if you receive a catalog in the mail, it's a lot of products and pricing. It's really, really clear that catalog is wanting to sell you products. Well, that's not really the way Instagram works, or social media in general. What it is, specifically Instagram, is it is a magazine. So the three things that we want to be sure to include on our Instagram feed, because it's a magazine, is personal information. Just like a magazine has human interest pieces, this is going to be your human interest piece. You are the human interest, right? So you want to include personal things about yourself, because people actually buy the artist, not necessarily the art. Yes, they do buy the art, but they want to buy the artist. Okay, so the second thing you want to include is the creative process. So just like in a magazine, there's all these self-helps and different ways to do things and to help people, you want to include your creative process. And then the third thing you want to do is you want to let people know about your product, okay? So if you are looking at Instagram, the first 9 things that people see, so here, here, and here, need to include those 3 things. So something of human interest, something about a process, and maybe something about your product. So just keep that in mind. So when people are scrolling, they are going to stop. They're going to decide whether they're going to want to follow you based on those 9 images that you have right there. Now, if they like the 9, they might keep scrolling up, right? But you got to make sure like those 9 images are ones that you really want to put your best foot forward all of the time. Now, there's lots of ideas about what it needs to look like and etc. I don't buy any of that. I mean, I buy it. I get it. I really get it in terms of branding and everything. It's just because I look at Instagram as connecting with people. For me, I'm not as into the aesthetics part of it, but awesome. Good for you if you do. That's absolutely amazing. The next thing is that your work needs to be strong if you want people to buy it. And this is not something that people really talk about very much, but I think we want social media to be this kind of quick fix and easy way to sell our work. But the truth is your work needs to be as strong as possible. So just keep painting, right? The more you paint, the stronger your work will get. It needs to have several different, incorporate several different things like, composition and values and color and all of that. But just, your work needs to be strong if you're going to be selling it, or it needs to be in somehow resonating with the people that you're wanting to purchase it. The other thing is that because 99% of the people will never see our work in person, it's important that we have really good photos of our work. So how do we need to do that? Well, first thing is you want to be sure that the image is cropped right. Okay, so don't have a lot of extra space around the painting. You want to just make sure it's nice and tight so that people can see it. It's already a little square on Instagram, so you don't want it to make even smaller. Okay, so make sure it's nice and tight and well cropped. The other thing is you want to take the photo where there's no glare on it. There's different ways that you can do that in terms of lighting, but just an easy way is if you can put it like in the morning light or the late afternoon light where there's no direct light on it. If you want to take it outside, then you can usually get a lot of good color and no glare on your painting. The other thing you want to do is you want to include, once you post it, you want to include the dimensions, because on Instagram, you could have a painting that's 7 feet tall, but on Instagram, you don't know if it's that 7 inches or is that 7 feet. So be sure to include your dimensions when you post it. Now, a lot of people like to add pricing and a lot of people don't. So that's going to be a personal preference. I do it sometimes and I don't other times. I'm not quite sure why. I think what I'm wanting people to have as much information as possible. And based on that information, they can decide if they want to DM me for more information or contact me about purchasing the painting. So then what happens if they are interested? Well, you want to make sure that on your first page, right here in your bio, you want to make sure that you have your email so that's easy for people to contact you if they are not going to do it through DM. So now, what happens if you've got somebody and they want to buy a painting and they decided, yes, they're interested? What happens then? Well, I can tell you what I do. What I do is I contact them through their email. We exchange each other email, and I send them several high-resolution images of the painting. I send them big images, and I send them several detail shots, because what I want is I want the buyer to be super excited when they get it, and I don't want there to be any surprises. So when I take the photos, I don't change the photo, how they're the different filter settings on Instagram. I don't want to use those filter settings to make the painting seem like something that it's not, because what we're doing is we're hoping we're going to sell it, right? And if people receive it and it wasn't what it was made out to be, then they're going to get frustrated and can send it back. So through the emails, I always send more high-res images and detailed images of what the painting is. So after that, I also let them know that I will give 100% refund if they receive it and they're not happy with it. So I just try to remove all of the barriers that people might have for purchasing artwork, basically online, because I think it can be dicey. If I were going to buy a painting, I would want to see it. So because most people won't be seeing it in person, you got to give them as much information as possible. Anyway, I hope that was helpful on how to use social media to help with selling your work. And if you like what you heard, please like and subscribe and tell people about it. And if you have any other tips, leave them in the comments below. Okay, have a great day. Peace out.